I see you liking that.
Wait.
Oh, no. What?
I see those likes.
Tiny rat girl.
There's like a small mouse girl or whatever.
Oh, that one's cute. Come on.
I
That's the
don't
incredibly small
know.
account.
I don't know. Some of those pictures that I've seen you like, little less than innocent. John Edward Thayer.
Probably just camping on everyone's likes. Like, I'm judging.
No, like when I see likes roll up that column, I don't even have to guess who it was. I just know people's tastes now. Like I know what everybody likes, and I know what I like. It's like, okay, that's a Rhett. That's a Rhett like. That's a John. That's Eric. Those titties are 700 times bigger than they should be. That's Eric. That could go either way. If it's like a cream pie, that's probably Eric. If it's gigantic tits, that's probably Liana.
And if it's CBK, it's me.
And if it's if
it's literally anyone from Symphogear, it's
you
me.
and 10 evil stars are the only two people that spam Symphogear. And I just retweet that Symphogear bot every time it has a crisp frame.
I had to mute that account because the amount it was showing up on my feed was insufferable.
You had to mute Symphogear?
You follow like 5 Symphogear friends and they all post it like 10 times a day.
Oh.
It gets to be a lot. And they're all posting different frames all day.
That's wild.
That'll
get you. It's
There's
a lot
nothing. Here, I'll just post it in the DM. There's Rhett, tell me if there's anything illicit about this.
Uh-oh.
I think this is completely nice.
What are we doing? Where are
on
we
the
looking?
Twitter or Discord?
Are we going Discord? Because we still have the...
I know.
We still have the group thingy here.
I mean, I'll do both.
All right, do it right in here. Drop it. Drop that shit.
Right.
Drop it.
Completely innocent. Oh,
right.
Damn it, we both... There it is. Completely innocent.
I see a nipple.
I don't see anything. Oh, wait, did we do it Twitter? Okay, we over here? What do we got?
We did.
What do we got? What do we got?
I did it in the...
Yeah, I see nipple. I see... That is definite mouse nipple. There's mouse nipple there. It's a very pink and very visible mouse nipple.
On Dan Brewer, this would be implied vor.
Yeah, this is definitely implied vor. That's what I get from a lot of that person when I see those likes roll across my timelines. Oh, that's implied vor. That's a John. That's a John.
I don't even know... God, these are so fucking good. Retweet.
There are mouse nipples in the picture that John sent us on Twitter. Well, there's a mouse nipple. It's just a singular mouse nipple. It is also a mouse that is likely imperiled.
Very much so.
Yeah, that's probably not going to end well.
I'm going to counter.
Okay. But you're gonna give
on Twitter only.
Is it?
It's.
Oh, that one has a toothbrush.
Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
John is the toothbrush friend.
Okay. Rhett, what you got here? That's wholesome. There you go.
It's very wholesome.
There you go. There's your wholesome. There's no nipples in this picture. No, I'm fine with that.
All right, here. I've accidentally made a new group, so I'm just...
Deep cleaning!
And we can just talk.
So, there is a toothbrush in this image. I fear that if I described this one on my Twitch or YouTube account, I would probably get banned. So I'll just say there's a toothbrush being employed in a manner that you probably wouldn't want to use a toothbrush against a certain area.
Oh my god.
Also, it's a mouse. Also, there's, again, one singular mouse nipple. Rhett's recoil there was perfect.
That artist is very nice. I think that's a lovely artist.
I mean, I'm not gonna say their art's bad.
I think I like art that is significantly weirder than that one, or at least
I'm sure, but it's like that's just like the
more,
one that came to mind when I'm thinking of, like, what are some like common themes I see when I look over at that activity feed every now and again. Like, oh, okay, I can guess who liked that one. I know all y'all's tastes by now. I know what y'all like. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There is no shaming here. This is a safe place for everybody to have their kinks.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be wild when Twitter bans porn.
It is, isn't it? Because that's what's gonna happen. Is they're gonna add subscriptions to tweets, and then people that are into sex work are gonna start using it, and Twitter's gonna go, "Oh, son of a bitch, we done fucked up now.
We didn't think about this.
We are way
seconds.
too puritanical for this." And then that's gonna be the end of all porn on Twitter. That's it. It's over. Done with.
Back to Tumblr.
Back to Tumblr again. I'd Tumblr for you.
It's always weird when I look at my Tumblr and I expect it to be a ghost town, and then it's like, oh, Genshin Impact, of course.
Of course, why not? You know what? Genshin Impact got them wifeys. And you know what Sunday evenings got? Sunday evenings got that Sockscast all up in your ear holes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, and here me and Rhett are going to start feeling old again. Welcome to episode 134. We've done so many of these things.
34, that's how old we are.
34, yes. 34. Yeah. That is a good number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
34 is a lucky number.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very lucky number. Its digital root is 7, and 7 is a lucky number. See?
Yeah.
Exactly. We got it. So how's everybody doing? Welcome. We're gonna do a show for y'all. We're gonna talk. You're gonna listen. It's gonna be comfy. Just like we started things off with a banger. We got mouse nipples right in the opening. So you know that this is gonna be a banner episode. We got a Symphogear reference on this week's cover. So we're just knocking it out of the park already. I would say, like, it's all downhill from here because we started with a showstopper, but I don't think that we can go too far. I don't think that this ride ends on a bad note. I think we end up in still pretty good place, even though we're gonna crash this thing into the side of a fucking mountain. So that's good.
Polly, we have like 10 bangers an episode. Like they've still got lots of good stuff.
Yeah, there's still stuff here. Stick around. Somebody will probably talk about a video game. You've probably never heard that on a podcast before.
The one and only video game podcast.
Yep. The one and only. To my immediate virtual right, he ain't got no future or family tree, but he knows what a prince and lover ought to be. It's Rhett.
If only I typed faster, I could figure out your song references quicker.
Rhett, I got good news for you.
Good. What is it?
Potatoes are back.
Potatoes are back!
Potatoes are back! Baby. We've done it! Like, we got 3D Doritos, we got potatoes back at Taco Bell. Life is worth living again. We are in the age of healing. It's finally happening. Do you feel it, Rhett?
Millennials and Zoomers, we bullied Taco Bell into bringing back potatoes. Through angry tweets at their Twitter account.
Man, this feels like such a it feels like they did this on purpose. This feels so calculated. Because there's no potato shortage. Because literally last year, like, farmers were like, dude, we have so many potatoes, please, somebody just take them. We will give them away. Please just come get them. So it was it was a calculated bullshit move. But it's nice now. Yeah.
To be fair, I have gone to Taco Bell and ordered so many potato tacos that they're like, we need to heat up some potatoes. It's going to be like 15 minutes.
Oh, damn. Is that like just in one order?
So it worked?
Yeah.
That's just like Rhett's one order. Like he pulls in. It's like, man, I need 27 potato tacos.
34 potato tacos.
34 potato tacos.
So there is I know that there is some level of maintenance with them where like they can run out temporarily and they need to keep them hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, they thought that was the easy thing to cut, and the internet proved them wrong.
Yeah. It turns out potatoes are really good. Because even like, I'm not vegetarian, but I will fight for keeping potatoes where they need to be. Because I love me some potatoes.
I thought you were going to say I'm not a vegetarian, but I would fuck up a potato.
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
I'm not a vegetarian, but I would fuck a potato.
Yeah, let's get it to its logical end point. Let's just right on in there. It's coming out one way or another. One of the three of us is going to say it. John, I'm glad that you were there to slap shot that one right in.
John loves potatoes because he thinks of Mr. Potato Head, and then it's a vor thing.
And then it's a vor thing.
God.
Just eats them raw.
I do. Remember, I eat potatoes raw.
I don't. That's weird.
Well, now...
We know.
I'm the weirdo that eats potatoes raw. We have a whole cover dedicated to that. They're fine. They're just like cold, kind of flimsy, wet potato chips. It's fine.
No.
Honestly, I've had some soggy potato chips. This sounds fine to me.
See, it's good. You slice it up, you throw some salt on there, you're fine. Wash it off real good. It's fine. It's not gonna kill you.
Get a bag of Lay's. Dip it in a fish pond.
Get a bag
Drink
of
it out of the
Lay's.
bag.
Get a bag of Laid. Hey.
Get a bag of Lay's. Oh, oops, all salt.
Yeah, I don't like Lay's at all. They're misery chips. I can literally feel every point of my blood pressure shooting through the top of my head anytime I have them. Woo! Yeah, like potatoes.
Eric liked my retweet. No one else did, but Eric liked it. Thank you, Eric.
Of course.
Call back.
To my immediate virtual left, in his own mind, he's the dopest trip. How's it going, John Thayer?
Hi.
Hey.
I knew you were talking about me.
Yeah.
I'm the dopest trip. Hi.
You are the dopest trip. I know it's going to be hard to compete like with this time because like we got potatoes this episode and Doritos 3Ds and mouse nipples. Like you have a lot to compete with this episode. There's so much going on. Don't know how anybody's going to be able to.
I've got nonstop bangers lined up.
Non-stop, the non-stop disco power pack over here. He's just never going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. Because you're gonna be getting us started, John. What you been doing? Kick it off. Let's go.
I don't think I've gotten us started in a while.
Give us a barn burner.
Thank
Let's
you.
go. I pay attention.
I'll give you a fucking barn burner. I finished Hard Catch Precure.
Ooh. It took really 6 months.
Yeah, I was thinking when was it? I know that came up in October.
Did you start this before?
Literally, I watched.
Yeah, you watched this.
Go ahead.
You started this just after Xenogears.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I started this a little bit after I started Xenogears. Almost a month after I started Xenogears. I've been playing Xenogears for a while.
Yeah, that's kind of the case. We were talking about how long Xenogears is, and the speed run for it is 18 hours. It's kind of long.
Still shorter than the speed run of Castlevania Adventure, actually. But I started, basically what it was, I blazed through the first half of it and got to a mid-season finale and then didn't pick it back up. I tried jumping in with a few episodes and wasn't really feeling it, and then I just started feeling it, and then I blazed through the rest of the show. So it was really just 2 week-long spurts of Hard Catch Precure.
Spurt is maybe not the word to use describing this show.
This is completely nice. There's nothing grody here. This is a completely chill zone.
It's the actual magical girl show for girls.
It's the actual nice magical girl show for girls instead of all the dumb bullshit, all the bullshit. It's an edgy deconstruction, or it's whatever the fuck Flip Flappers is. Or, it's Simple Hero. It's Fate. It's all whatever.
It's whatever that Ilya Prisma thing was.
Oh. There was a bottom and we found it.
Yep, that's literally the bottom.
Yep, that is the pit. Yep, that is the bottom. No.
This is the polar opposite of that.
Yeah, this is the one actually for 6-year-old girls.
It is that's actually for 6 to 12-year-old girls. I would say, probably. And I just watched Tangled last year and loved it, and it's the same demo, I think.
Okay, that's how we kind of trace the logical through line from from that to that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering how we kind of went, like, because I wasn't sure how Precure ended up on your to-watch list. But now it's like, okay, Tangled makes sense. I like
nice kid shows.
I
like nice kid shows. I went on a big kind of tirade about it where I was like, with kid shows, you tend to have like these very episodic structures, and then like you build up to these finale beats that are very like contained. Mm-hmm. Like with Tangled, you'd have like 10 episodes of and now they're walking to the place where they're going to have the finale.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the finale, and then it's 40 straight minutes of solid gold. And then the episodes are nice too. There's a sort of discipline to it where they're like, we're just going to have these nice episodes, and we're going to build to these very tightly told stories for the overall arc. And my comparison point for like grown-up TV is like Game of Thrones, where it's like there are 40 different character threads going on at any given time, and they're all just kind of oozing along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like hard to parse. Like there's not like a clear structure to it, or like a season arc. Like you just even get to the finale, and it's like, okay, a big thing happened in one of these threads.
We might have the special episode where Karen gets to have her backstory, and then next week it's back to Monster of the Week.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is like, my big touchstone is Sailor Moon, which is obviously
obviously that's kind of where you go.
Yeah.
Because I really like Sailor Moon. That's another touchstone for me, is that I watched 3 seasons of that and had a really good time. And so that's what Precure is that it is 90% cute episodic Monster of the Week stuff, and then 10% absolute solid gold rock amazing finale shit. I think there are a handful of things that make this a particularly good example of that format. All of the monsters are characters in the show. Like they are, like they're children that are transformed, that are sad in some way.
I agree. Children are monsters.
and then they have that sadness taken advantage of by the villains, and then they are turned into big monster of the weeks.
Yeah.
So the resolution of every episode is they beat the monster, but then also like, a child is sad about how they're moving, and a child is sad because their parents just had a new baby, and they feel like they're not having any attention paid to them, and they feel like their parents don't love them anymore. And they run away, and you feel it a lot, and then they get to the end, and then they realize, actually, no, of course the parents love them. It's just been hard right now because da 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 da. And there's a lot of episodes where, and it's not just stuff like that where like the kid needs to understand, like, oh, actually everything's fine. It's sometimes the parents are wrong too, and then the parents realize that, oh God, we haven't been who we need to be, and it's really sweet. So every time the show goes, so like nearly every episode has a little dramatic arc like that, where a kid is hurting in some way, or even an adult is hurting in some way, and then it's resolved really sweetly and sort of maturely. And the other big thing that I think really makes this work is the villain, Dark Precure, who I kept posting pictures of because she's so scary.
Is super hot and super hot.
She's super fucking cool, Rat.
Yeah. She was, when I first started seeing screenshots of her, and people were like, "Oh man, the Catcher in Sins art style," and I'm like, "Am I gonna watch Pretty Cure?" I just never pulled. I never pulled that trigger, but I'm closer than ever now.
Like, she's a believable threat, which is a rare thing in these shows, I think, because it's hard to have stakes in like a magical girl show.
I mean, Sailor Moon killed everyone in the first season.
Yeah, and then immediately brought them all back to life.
I know, but
like you don't get,
I
don't get too many points for that. I get you.
Remember My Hime? Remember that shit?
See, it's tradition.
Polly is never going to get over.
I never let that go.
No, we're never. I was thinking about Myotome the other day, and just like, at least it didn't end like
My Otome is solid. Yes, they had to drop. They dropped My Otome. They had to drop the fucking the fucking quality of the show, obviously, but they told a better story, and it actually ended like on a fucking believable note. Whereas My Hime just shits itself compulsively for 27 minutes. It doesn't stop. It just keeps flooding out of its pants. There's no room for the shit.
My Otome has a Symphogear ending, and My Hime poops itself. So, yeah.
And oh my god, I was for the whole they get to like the final dungeon, and then there's like 4 episodes left, and I'm just like, fuck yes, fuck yes, fuck yes, I'm so here for this. 4 straight episodes of Sailor Moon finale, and then it's delivered. So you have to be here for 50 episodes, where most of it is that.
It's a little long, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what these shows are. Is that this airs all year, and then the next one immediately starts airing, and then they have 2 movies, and then the next one immediately starts airing, and then they do that for 18 years.
Yeah,
like that's Precure.
God, has it really been 18 years? I've not heard of that many series.
It's close.
Yeah.
Also, it was very funny that they have a second transformation at one point in the show, believe it or not. And then immediately after the big cathartic moment of them all doing the second transformation, I was watching a recording of the TV broadcast, so there was a little text scroll across the bottom. The Precure's new dresses are available in stores now.
Yeah!
Perfect!
Literally watching a toy commercial.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's what all anime is made for anyway. It's all made to be marketing. We're just fooling ourselves and pretending that there's a deeper meaning than making money.
I think this is also one more thing that's very important about the show is that every frame of it is imbued with life and love and animated joy. And just looking at it for any length of time puts a smile on my face.
This is a show where... This is a show where they could shit this out like Dragon Ball Z episodes on like the shoestringiest budget imaginable, and they would still make bank on it, but they actually put a lot of care into this show. Like, I've not watched any full episodes, but I've seen enough of this show in action, and like the visual fidelity is there to a level that you just don't see in shows that run this long. Or have this kind of production schedule.
Yeah. The fact that this never takes a break is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
And that may be the case. That may or may not be the case for all the other Precures, but this is like the most beloved one.
Yeah.
And it has this specific style. It has some ex-Sailor Moon people on it. I think maybe... that's one thing I talked to a Heartcatch Mega fan about, who has a lot of history with magical girl stuff, and talking about like, oh yeah, all these people that spiraled off from Sailor Moon, like this person that went and did Princess Tutu, and this person went and did Utna, and this person that went and did this Precure season, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, it was just sort of a cauldron of talent, which makes sense because Sailor Moon was really cool. I think that the way this show handles basically filler, the way that this show handles the episodic stuff is much stronger to me than Sailor Moon, and I feel much more connected to the main Precures than I did to the characters in Sailor Moon. And to me that makes this feels like this was more of what I wanted, more of what I recommend to like grown-ups who like this stuff. I think that because it's not adapted from a manga, like with Sailor Moon, it's like, here is the stuff that matters, and then we have to make filler reps.
There's a very clear divide in every adaptation that goes on like that and gets thrown into that kind of production.
Yeah, and Precure is an anime original, which we like.
Yeah.
And basically every character from like the one-off episodic show episodes comes back, like even if it's just as a character off to the side with a couple lines, or in the finale, or all sorts of stuff. And I love that, and that does so much to make the episodic stuff feel like it matters more, if that makes sense. like one comes back and then actually becomes part of the main plot. And I was like, oh shit. Oh wow, I should pay attention. I'm like,
cool.
So this show completely delivered at the end. I was very pleased with it. Dark Precure and Cure Moonlight are so fucking cool. God damn. The first 2 minutes of this show is their dramatic final battle before the series starts. And you watch that first 2 minutes, and if you're here for this kind of show, that's all it fucking takes. You are just in it. It's so good.
Jeez. So when are you watching the movies?
Probably at some point. For some reason, it's harder for me to get excited about movies. Like I still haven't watched the Sound movies yet. Equally important. And that's all. If you have any questions, Rhett, especially, since I know you're kind of eyeballing the show now.
I'm definitely eyeballing it now. I have the first couple episodes downloaded, which is definitely more than an eyeball. Yeah, it's definitely like, it's probably happening at some point. I mentioned the director of this worked on Casher and Sins. That is not correct. It was the character designer of Casher and Sins that came back. I looked up the director of this. He went on to do some Dragon Ball Super stuff. Of course. Because he works at Toei.
Yeah, like that makes sense.
Yeah, he did some episodes of Dragon Ball Super, and then he did Super Broly, the movie, the latest movie, which was actually really good.
Dope. And it's one more very funny thing is that I did start this immediately after finishing Symphogear GX.
Yeah. No, I remember that. It was you were extremely excited about Symphogear GX, but you said, I want the rawest fucking magical girl possible. I want the purest,
straight from the tap.
Yeah.
That's not what you're getting from Symphogear. It's a totally different thing.
Symphogear is a fusion of like, the J-pop, the mecha stuff, the magical girl aspect. This was, I want pure ass 4 little girls magical girl.
I want to sit down at the refrigerator, pull out that bottle of maple syrup, open my big fat mouth, and just chug.
Give me 40 episodes of one-off, adventures of Monster of the Week.
And then the Symphogear finale. And guess what? When you get the Symphogear finale after that, I was like, yeah, just cry. There's an Idol song that becomes emotionally important.
I know.
Completely invested.
The one part where I'm a little salty is that this is what got you invested in an Idol song.
Well, right, like the problem is the Idol songs in Symphogear just aren't good. Sorry.
Well, the problem is that they just throw them at the start of the series before you're invested. Like they aren't actually.
They don't make. That's my problem with the music in Symphogear. It's like I always make the joke of why is everybody singing? Because like that Sabin pick from Final Fantasy VI. It's like why is everybody singing at the opera? And it's just like my problem is with Symphogear is that like I never like they sing all the time, so it's not special. There's nothing like it's never a cool moment. It's just okay, you're battling and you're singing and it looks bad. If you would save it for really cool moments, like real big important key moments, like
they save certain songs for key moments later on,
right?
But yeah, it's hard. It doesn't stand out as much because even like My Hime. Like, I think at the mid-season finale, they do a song during the battle, and it's super fucking awesome. It's
so good.
Yeah, Symphogear is just like,
talking about
it's overload.
Songs, right?
Yeah. Symphogear is the one show to do it as the actual canon that they're actually singing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's neat that, considering like a lot of animes have insert songs for like the big emotional moment. I think it's neat that there is one that exists that's like, let's do that for every single battle.
Yeah.
Like I think that's kind of neat because
hilariously the real shit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If they just saved it for the special stuff, then they would be doing exactly what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Which is have insert songs for dramatic moments.
There's a few moments in Symphogear where it just plays music during a fight, and that's the actual real shit. Like when they're not singing.
Hey, turns out I'm way better at fighting when I'm not singing badly.
Oh, jeez. Well, we mentioned how these cartoons are just made to sell stuff, and Symphogear is the one that is like, hey, what if we sell CDs?
Right. They should sell boxing gloves.
I did not mean to make that a shit on Symphogear thing.
No,
I was
that's
just
fine.
like, this is giving me what I wanted.
Yeah.
I have one other thing besides the big thing.
Hit it.
I think.
Go ahead, Rhett.
I think we should save the big thing for last.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to do my one more little thing and then throw it to one of you.
Yeah, yeah.
I played Starry Flowers, the new Nom Nom.
Oh man, I still need to play Drowning.
Mm-hmm.
I've not played that.
Drowning is only like a half hour.
Okay.
It's like a nice little vignette.
Yeah, it sounds really nice. Drowning. It's great. It's going to be super positive and uplifting experience. I can tell.
It's a Nami game. It's gonna be nice, Polly.
I know.
It goes a little. It gets a little bit. I also played Drowning, and I really liked it after like wanting to play it for like a year.
Yeah,
I just didn't.
That's kind of just like I wanted, like I downloaded it day one. I'm just like, I don't know why I've not played this.
Mm-hmm. It's really cute, and the way that the themes in Drowning, it's a part of the queer experience that's really kind of subtle,
sure.
in the way that, and it's cool with how they address, and it's really cool with how she addresses it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a small story. It's like one of her half-hour games, but I think the way it gets to that little theme is really touching.
Yeah.
So I really like Drowning too.
That's cool.
I pretty much like all of Nami's games.
Yeah, like she's not missed. Like she's not gonna miss, you know. So what's this one?
Like the worst I can say is that some of them. That kind of ties into Starry Flowers, because I feel like if I have one criticism with Nami, it's some of the games can feel like a little bit truncated. Like I could imagine them feeling a little bit fuller, and maybe landing a little bit harder as a result. Like I think the biggest one for me in that was Her Tears Were My Light, because that game's about a half hour long, and it's a branching visual novel story. And it basically just kind of gets straight to the catharsis.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of... Yeah, that can work for some people. I kind of need a little more setup on things like that.
Yeah, and I do too, and that's why that's probably not... I know that's a lot of people's favorite, but that's probably not one of my favorites. I think for me, it's... Like, my favorites are sort of the ones that go a little bit longer and build up to, like, sort of quieter final moments, like Wandering Wolf Trick or Dreaming Treat.
Yeah.
I love those. And Starry Flowers is a 2-hour, 27K word, kinetic visual novel from Nom Nom Nami. And it is a slow burn romance that focuses almost entirely on two people.
Nice.
So it is like probably her most fleshed out game ever.
Woo.
While still having all the charm and discipline of her short form works. And this game was so fucking good. I played it for 2 straight hours and finished it, and then like 7 hours later, I played the entire thing through again with my partner and had just a completely nice time both times, just riveted to the screen.
Jeez, that's like, pretty wild. It's not rare that like I replay a visual novel like ever, for one, but to go back immediately and want to do that again, like just, you know, right from the jump, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It was also just personal things, because I really wanted to...
You wanted to share that, right?
I really wanted to experience the story with... really wanted to experience that story with Monty, because for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Also, this is also unlike every other Nom Nom Nami game. This game is about 2 boys.
Whoa! Didn't know she had it in her.
I know! I was like, wait, what?
Wait a minute. What?
It's a game about 2 boys falling in love. I see that. I have not dipped my toe into
boys love at all.
No, I just barely have touched it. And that feels like an oversight, really, because oh my god, it feels so nice. It's so nice. It's just because it's just a little different. It's just a little bit different. And it's different in a nice way, and it's like, oh. And the 2 characters in this are Periwinkle and Pastille, and Periwinkle is an incorrigible flirt, just absolutely merciless, just going to town from the jump, doesn't let up for the whole game, and we're in his head.
Oh, good.
And it's so fucking good. And Pastille is from Syrup, and he's one of my favorite characters from Syrup. Syrup in the Ultimate Sweet, which is the game about the gumdrop, the candy golem who wants to be eaten. And Pastille is gentle and shy and pink, and it's cute. Oh my god. So a really cool thing with this is how it handles sex, because it literally starts with them going on a date and going home and then fucking.
Yo,
chapter. Yep. And that is chapter 1 of 7 chapters, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that's not what I usually see in romance stories. I don't usually. Sex is usually the.
It's usually the end goal of these types of stories, typically.
Yeah, I don't mean to like throw visual novels under the bus.
No, but it's kind of like that's your prize for winning, I guess. A lot of the time is here's the sex.
And I'm certain there's a ton of VNs that handle this maturely. That I've been playing fucking Fate, so I haven't seen them. Having it start from there and handled maturely. It's not smut. It doesn't go into detail at all. It's just that this is a fact of the story is that they are having sex, and it handles that nicely and maturely. Also, that they're both adults. That's nice too. It's just a very different flavor of love story that feels a lot more true to like my life and my lived experiences. And the way things progress and the way Periwinkle is a huge fucking flirt and also is really walled off in some specific ways, and the ways that the game explores that, and the way and being inside his head for all of it. It is impossibly cute and also well observed and mature in a way that I always expect from games, like it kind of blindsided me.
But just maybe these kinds of stories you're not used to seeing maybe this much maturity.
Yeah. You expect shortcuts.
Yeah.
You expect to jump over the kind of quieter stuff.
And
this game doesn't do that. You're just really in his head dealing with this romantic arc in a way that's really fucking cool and just tapped in. That it hit close to home, a lot of it. So I really, really fucking love this game. This is my favorite Nami game.
Wow,
which
like
is
that's
saying a lot.
Yeah. Because I mean, for me personally, I think it's still Wandering Wolf Trick, because I think that's just kind of like the most solid.
It's so goddamn good.
That one is just amazing.
I haven't replayed it in a bit. I'm gonna. That's the one I specifically want to play again, top to finish, because I think I watched all of Dreaming Treat again on either your stream or whoever streamed it.
After 5 streamed it, I believe. And before like the next one comes out, I'm probably gonna stream all of them again. So definitely looking forward to kind of.
I think either
going back into that world again.
I know it's. She's working on Syrup 2, which I'm excited about. And also the next Treat game.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad that it's been like 2 years since the last Treat, but also she's put out a bunch of good stuff since then, and I'd rather her do that than force it.
Yeah, like it definitely sounds like she's kind of at the point with Treat now where it's so much more involved than when it started. That first game is literally like 25 minutes and just a few screens, and then by the time we get to Dreaming Treat, it's ridiculous. So like those games take a lot longer. They probably require a lot more like actually thinking about where we're going storyline wise, because we're considering a bigger picture. Whereas these smaller stories are definitely like easier to take on, easier to kind of keep you motivated for the bigger project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this game, she apparently made this whole game in 3 months.
Big relate. Big relate.
How long we spent on her lullaby.
Yep.
And she was just talking about how it just flowed. It just was like completely, every part of it just kind of came naturally. Just the love of these boys just was inside me all along, and then I just needed to explode out of me into the world.
Just like the way we wanted to keep killing those precious girls over and over again. We just needed to explode that out into the world.
I did not. Oh, her lullaby. Okay, yeah. I was confused for a second. Like, what?
All right.
That's not Nami. Yeah, it was. Which also felt close to home with her lullaby experience. So I think this is not one to miss, especially if you like the idea. I mean, I didn't necessarily like the idea of a 27K word slow burn romance that's completely focused on that, but it very much won me over, and it makes me want to maybe seek out more of those kinds of experiences.
Nice.
So this was an absolute delight, and it was exactly what I needed to play the day after finishing another game, which we'll get to later.
Oh boy.
This was the
recovery period, the palate cleanser.
The healing.
This was the bag of cotton candy. the bag of cotton candy directly into my gob that I needed. So, Brett, what have you been up to?
So, I also finished the thing.
Uh-oh.
About 2 weeks ago. I guess I finished it Monday. And then didn't feel like doing anything for a few days.
I think what you said was... Go ahead.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it.
I said I finished Omori and was sad for a week.
Oh. Rough.
So I've bounced back. I've been playing Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Hey! I've been wondering about this. I like that first game a whole lot.
Well, guess what? It's the first game again.
It's the Northern Front, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So this series has a kind of a weird history.
Yeah.
So I've got the Game FAQs page pulled up so I can quote all the dates. Valkyria Chronicles 1 was a PS3 exclusive released in 2008.
Yep.
Then they made a sequel, Valkyria Chronicles 2, for the PSP in 2010. So it was a Japanese-only, that never got localized, Japanese-only PSP game, the sequel.
It like took out all of like the defining artwork that made that game what it
Yeah.
was. And they made it like a high school setting.
Yeah, it did the whole now we're in high school thing. It was set, 2 years after the war or something.
Yeah.
I've never really heard anybody say anything nice about this game.
Nothing at all.
And then a year after that, they made another PSP exclusive, Valkyria Chronicles 3.
Oh,
yep.
So we're at 2011 now, and that game, it goes back to being set at the same time as the first game during the same war.
Yep.
And people say that one is good
really
and has
good.
kind of a darker tone.
Yep.
Also never got localized, though.
Nope. Because fuck the PSP.
The PSP in 2011.
Yeah. Just bad all around.
I don't remember when the Vita came out, but it was like, I'm pretty sure it was dead in the West long before that.
It was dead in the West in 2008.
Yeah. So after that, it looked like the series was dead. Mm-hmm. So in end of 2013, I got a PS3, and then in 2014, I bought the original game on PS3, and then a month later,
it gets fucking ported out of nowhere.
Out of literal nowhere, this, I guess it would have been 8 years old or 6 years old. Not that old, but 6 years later, it just shows up on Steam, like with no warning.
Yep.
And it does really well there
because it's an amazing port.
Yeah, amazing port, and it's a strategy game. Hey, they kind of like strategy games on PC.
Yep.
So then after that, they ported it. They did a remaster version on PS4 and stuff. And now, basically, Valkyria Chronicles 4 feels like they just took the remaster and just made a new game with that.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I get from looking at this game.
So the thing about it is having played the original game, this feels like a direct sequel to the original game, and and that it ignores whatever 2 and 3 originally did. It is just this sidestep, like Divergent, where it's like, this is as far as the West is concerned, this is the sequel. This is the only other one available. This is the actual sequel.
This is actual Valkyria Chronicles 2.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like 1 and 3, it is set during the same war and during the same time period.
Right.
Like, they mention, like, the invasion of Gallia happening, like, a couple missions into this game. Like, it is the same time frame. I think they even have the exact year of, like, 1935 is when they're all set. So, they've made some... It's weird, because it plays exactly like the first game.
Oh... That can be good and bad, because that first game, on the surface, really strategy, but you can actually solo most of the maps if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, they have... So that's the thing, where it's like, it's not an overhaul, it's just, hey, we've made some smart changes to the balance to kind of stop scouts from being so free.
That's good. That's good. Because that's something that always bothered me about that game. Is I love that first game to death. It's just the strategy element. And the way you're graded on strategy is just like, do it in as few turns as possible. Okay, I've got a scout. Let's do it in 1 turn.
Unfortunately, that speed aspect is still the same.
Oh,
you're still graded on as many turns. I know. Scouts are still very good, but everybody feels like they've been boosted up. Except for snipers. Snipers seem to kind of suck right now.
Oh no! They were so good in that first game.
I know. So they've added 1 new unit, which is the Grenadier.
Grenadier, right.
They're interesting. So I'll explain how this game works for John, is that you have kind of a top view of the map and where all your units are, like a normal strategy game, and then when you select a unit, it zooms in and becomes a third-person shooter, basically. So, like, you're directly controlling a character running around on a map, and enemies are literally in real time shooting at you. So, like, you've got to move your characters very quickly and definitively to avoid taking as much, like, interception fire as possible. And then when you go into aim mode, like, time stops and they'll stop shooting at you, so you can line up your headshots. But, like, and then you're manually aiming at enemies and trying to shoot them, in the head where it does more damage. So it's an interesting, like, hybrid of... It's primarily strategy, but there is, like, that real-time element of, like sometimes
the enemies, like, when you stop to take your shot, like, you will, because you have to stop to do... You're playing an RPG, so you've got to stop and actually take your turn to pull your gun up and shoot. Enemies are still firing at you while you're lining up your shot and shit.
Yeah. So, the Grenadiers... So, certain classes will have interception fire, like, they'll just shoot at you even if it's not their turn. Grenadiers also do that. So they have really fucking strong counter, like, interception fire damage. But as long as you keep running, they'll generally miss you because they're aiming at where you currently are. Yeah. But boy, if they hit you, like, your character just, like, goes flying and falls over. And, like,
oh no!
And, like, there's an effect where, like, the tinnitus static in your ear.
Oh, that's so good. Plays. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my... Yes! I love the simulation of tinnitus in a sound design. It's so good.
Yeah. And your characters are just like, oh my god, what the hell just happened? So, like, lining those... So, basically, that's one of the things that really keeps scouts from being overpowered, is if there's a Grenadier in the enemy camp and you try to go near them, they're going to fuck you up. Because when you stop to line up your shot and the next, round comes down, you'll just get knocked out of it. Because, your character's over there now because they just got blown the fuck up.
I love the blowing characters across the fucking map. Sounds real fun.
Oh, the ragdolls are pretty ridiculous. Like, when you kill an enemy and they just slump. Like, it's really goofy.
It's always good. It's my favorite.
It's so silly because all these, anime girls, like, one of the girls I like is named Nico. But she's, like, a super religious girl, so, like, she's like, I'm so sorry. Headshot, headshot, headshot. And she's like, so this is war.
Yep, definitely. Shooting people in the head. This is definitely war.
But she's a scout, so I just, like, run up behind enemies and shoot them in the head.
She's just airing out brain cavities over here, and she is praying to her lord.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just got a thing last night where, like, at level 10, classes get upgraded, so the Shock Trooper's got a fucking flamethrower now, which seems pretty good.
That sounds fun. I like setting things on fire.
And the scouts got a grenade attachment for their rifles, which seems a little broken.
Oh,
I'm like, oh no, they're back to one-shotting everybody from a distance.
Oh dear.
Because it's like you get one ammo for it, but then that one ammo replenishes every turn. So,
wow.
Yeah, they seem pretty good again. There's they've made some balances to not have quite as many instant fail states in a mission.
Oh, good. Yeah, that could be a problem in the original.
Your main commander, he still has a tank.
Of course.
The mission does not end if you lose the tank.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was really surprised the first time that happened. It just goes, oh, the Hafen has retreated.
Oh, that's wild, because that's kind of the whole thing was protecting and utilizing the tank as much as possible in that first game. It was fun to kind of puzzle out some missions where you were using the tank as cover and having to progress that way.
Yeah, the tank only costs one, action unit to move now. But and you can lose it. Yeah, and the mission won't end.
That's cool.
So it was just really frustrating before because I don't like saving during the missions because that gets really kind of
that feels real save scum. Yeah, I don't save during missions.
So the first time a Lancer got behind the tank and just one-shotted it, I was just like, fuck, and then it just keeps going. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm good.
We're fine. I mean, I can keep playing. I can keep playing the video game.
Yeah, because the missions, because of the whole real-time moving your character around, they do tend to drag on a bit, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer when you lose.
Yeah. Not fun. It's not fun to lose a big... Yeah, in a strategy game, it is not fun to lose a 20-minute map.
Yeah. But it's really exciting when you're close to losing and pull it out.
I love that. I like winning by the skin of my teeth. It's fantastic.
Yeah. There's a little armored car vehicle. I think there's something similar in the first game that can kind of move the slower units.
Yeah.
All at once together.
An APC.
Yeah. They've added a thing that I'm almost positive wasn't in the first one, is that the units that count as commanders besides your main commander, like Rosie in the first game would be one.
Mm-hmm.
They can do a thing where they'll say follow me to some other squaddies and then move them all as one kind of 3-person group.
Oh.
So it's just so you don't have to rely on the car all the time.
Oh, this sounds really convenient.
Yeah, they've made smart changes, and none of the characters that can do that are scouts, so you can't get a ton of distance with it.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's a grenadier, a shock trooper, and a sniper are your 3 that can do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
yeah, and the grenadiers when they move and when they put their turret down to set up, it takes several seconds. They're super vulnerable to interception fire during that.
Oh yeah, that's.
So you really want to keep them far away, and then I think. There's more units that count as armored or doing damage to... I forget. The Grenadiers, by default, they do armor damage to humans.
Yeah.
But the Lancers, they count as armored, so they're really good for sneaking up on Grenadiers. Right. It just feels a lot more balanced and hey, Lancers were very one note in the first game. They kill tanks.
Yeah,
and now they feel
Now they have an anti-personnel use as well, which that was the problem in the first game. They didn't have an anti-personnel use.
Yeah, now they're good for turrets and tanks and grenadiers.
That's smart.
So lots of smart changes to the balance in the gameplay side, but still extremely similar to the first game, where it's just for a game that came out a decade later. Yeah, literally 10 years later. It was 2018 is when this came out. So 10 years after the first game, they just kind of made it again.
That's good though. If you're gonna make a game, you might as well make the game that you made already, because it was already good. I'm fine with that. I love that first game.
And because no one has really quite done the same thing where the whole how you move your units hasn't been really replicated.
Yeah.
I believe the XCOM developers said they were inspired by it, but that was more the camera angles when you move your units goes down kind of ground. It's not actual real time like it is in this.
No.
So the story, it takes a long time to get going. Not super long, but it's very basic at the start. And then, it picks up. It's okay, I'm getting into these characters. I like them. There are these things called squatty stories where it's you're kind of random generic characters that can permadeath will have missions attached to them that you can lose access to if they actually die.
Oh no!
There's this funny prompt that pops up. It goes, "Dead soldiers cannot be deployed." And I'm like, yeah. I'm shocked.
Did you find the other mode? There's another mode in there where, like, if you like, it's a mode where for some reason you like your character has to use the bathroom really bad, and they call it squatty stories.
Okay.
Thank you for indulging me.
Okay. For a second, I thought, "Oh, Polly knows this game. She knows something about it," and then it's a poop joke. Also, the version on Steam now, they said fuck it and stopped selling the DLC.
And you got all the DLC now.
The version on Steam is just the complete edition now.
Yep.
And it has like, team up with Squad 7 or Squad 7 from the first game.
Yeah.
And I guess you can get some of them as playable characters like Rosie, which is just like, okay.
Hopefully she's not a racist in this one. But it's during the war, so she probably is.
Yeah. No, it's just like I kind of like just wanting to focus on the new characters.
Yeah,
and not
like the new cast.
On.
The new cast seems really like they seem fine.
Yeah, they're fine, but they just got to throw in that fan service, for
right?
People.
For sure.
They're just like, no, I want Alicia again or whoever.
Yeah.
Although if they let you deploy 2 tanks, that might be interesting. Because I think you can get the tank from the first game as well.
I mean, why not?
I'm not sure if they'd let you. That would really.
It's a pretty good tank.
Yeah. Except that every time it gets hit, you lost the mission instantly.
Yeah, that part sucks.
That part sucked. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this game. It seems very long, so I will be playing it again next week probably.
Weird, like, because that first game is not super long. It's only like 18 chapters or something.
I mean, I only looked at game FAQs. It says for the first game, it says 45 hours, and the new one, and VC4 says 69 hours.
Jeez, that sounds like maybe if you're grinding all of the skirmishes for like extra ducats and stuff. But
I wonder if that's including like all the DLC stuff, because some of them sound pretty involved.
That's a good
point.
A couple
of, like when these missions can be like half an hour long. And if there's 2 in one of those DLCs, like there's an hour there, there's an hour there.
It adds up.
Yeah. So I'm like,
how long to beat says that Valkyria Chronicles Remastered is 28 hours and Valkyria Chronicles 4 is 36 hours. That sounds probably
that sounds a little more reasonable to me.
But yeah, still, but generally longer than the first game was.
Yeah.
Which okay.
Yes, that's true of all 4 games, of all 3 subsequent games.
Yeah. Okay. What do you mean there are 4 games? There's only 2 in America.
Well, didn't they release Valkyria Revolution here?
Wait.
2 did come out in the States. Tom pointed that out.
Yeah, 2 came out here. So did Valkyria Revolution.
And everybody hated it. And then they didn't localize 3. The one people like were
the one that everybody wanted. Like they were literally begging. Like, come on, dude. Like, look, you guys know that second game was garbage. Give us the good one.
I can't believe 2 came out but not 3. That sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah, 2 basically killed the franchise over here until Remastered.
Okay, that's good. There is a fan translation for 3 now. And PSP emulation is solid. Right. So there you go. You want to play 3, by all means, it's there.
It's just that, this game may as well, like the development was just like, we're ignoring those 2.
Yeah.
Just the way it's so clearly, like nothing feels like franchises can kind of have like this accumulation of systems when you go like multiple entries. And this doesn't feel like that. This feels like very smart changes to the first game and the first game only.
Sure.
So that's the main thing I've been up to.
Cool.
The last few days.
Dope.
Polly.
So how do we want to handle this? Because I only have one big thing to talk about, and it's probably going to take me a bit. What do you guys have left?
Omori.
You both have Omori?
Omori.
Okay, so why don't we take a 5-minute break? We'll come back, I'll do my thing, and then we'll close out with Omori then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So we will be back.
Tune out also.
So we'll be back in like 5 minutes. Please don't talk about Amori too in depth. Hey, this is on them.
No, we will not.
They're the ones that have to balance this one, not me.
No, that's why I said like I want to do it last so people can bounce if they want to.
All right, I'll take my earphones off.
Not because it's a spoiler cast. We're still going to be considerate to Polly.
Yeah,
it's just like if you don't want to hear anything.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything before playing it, so I understand that.
All right, so we'll be back in like 5 minutes, and all that fun stuff. So get up. Stretch around, do all your fun stuff, whatever it is you need to do. Go do it. Hydrate. Drink water. Water's important. People should drink water.
I'm going to go get water.
I am too.
Trying to be as annoying as possible again.
I tried. I heard the echo, and I was going for it. I went all in. I went all in on annoying, and man, he got them headphones plugged in real quick, didn't he?
I sure did. It's so I can hear you all if you're talking, because often you have nice conversations while I'm still finishing up.
I know. But it's funny to use it against you. It's funny to use it against you, though.
It is funny.
It is very hilarious.
Get that? That was a new one too.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Y'all here?
All right.
All ready?
Are we all good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Cecile in the chat. Please let me second that Starry Flowers plug. It is so very good. That's Nom Nom Nami.
There you go. Nom Nom Nami don't miss. She don't fucking miss,
Nom Nom
dog.
Don't miss.
No miss. She's like an arcade clear. No miss.
God damn it.
Miss. Nom Nom miss.
Yeah,
there's nothing.
Nah, there's nothing there. You are plumbing the depths. There's nothing there. All right.
Polly!
Yes!
What have you been up to?
Playing a video game. Just one. Just one. Only played one.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You only played one.
I did. I played one video game. I played a video game called Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven of Dusk. So sometimes, y'all know me, still the same old G, but a bit low key. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I went with that, but sure. We know that sometimes I like me a nice systemsy dungeon crawler. And usually for that fix these days, I more often than not, I just go with the comfort food. It's like, oh hey, let's play some Labyrinth of Toho, or let's play Etrian Odyssey 4 for the 19th time. Despite the fact that I have like 5 and I've not played it yet. I've played the first stratum. I just bounced off of it for some reason. But man, I love 4 a whole lot, and I don't know why. That one's just the one. It's like it lacks all the quality of life improvements that 5 has and everything, but I'm just like, man, I love me this slow-ass dungeon crawler. But yeah, I like me some systemsy dungeon crawlers. And Labyrinth of Refrain is one that has been consistently recommended to me, both directly, and there are some people that I follow on YouTube where they've ranked dungeon crawlers, and this and Mary Skelter for some reason rank very consistently high on those lists. So with this one being the very systemsy one, where it's just like you get into this one prepared for the first 7 hours, the game's still going to be tutorializing you on things, which is fine because this is a game that is by the creators of Disgaea, and Disgaea just dumps everything on you on the first mission, and my brain shuts down and my eyes glaze over, blood shoots out my nose. I wake up 2 years later, don't know what the fuck happened. Somebody had to explain to me that I had put Disgaea into my PS2, and that's why I ended up in a coma for 2 years. But for a long story short, that's why Labyrinth of Refrain kind of ended up on my to-do list, even though I didn't like this guy. They're this is like the super dungeon crawly anime goodness that you want. You liked Etrian Odyssey, you like all that good stuff. This is the one, because this is a real deep version of that. So this is a story-heavy game, which kind of surprised me, because these don't typically go that route. Labyrinth of Refrain is very story and dialogue heavy, which was refreshing for me. Because with Etrian Odyssey, you literally fire that thing up in 5 minutes, you have created your team, and you are in a dungeon. Etrian Odyssey, just you know what? We know what you're here for. Just go do it. With this game, it's good. You get thrown into the dungeon for cutscene reasons and all of that, but you don't really start digging into the dungeoning part of this game for probably 45 minutes or so of just getting used to the characters, getting used to the setup. In the first 5 minutes, the main character has tossed a sheep down a well, because she's a very nice she's a very nice person. She like
I hit my animal cruelty funny bone.
Dronia is the main character. She is Duskwitch Dronia, and she's kind of an asshole, as may be evident from her tossing a sheep down a well. Well, she had to see, because like the setup is we're visiting this town, and we've heard that there's this well, and for some reason people can't go down it, like people die, so she had to test it somehow. What's she gonna do? Throw the kid down that she's traveling with? That kid's probably important. You can't throw the kid down the well.
That's what you said.
But yeah, like that's kind of the main crux, is that like you can't go down into the well because you're human. So she, being a witch, like you'd think, well, that kind of sucks for her. What are you gonna do? So, well, she's able to use a magic book to the Tractatus de Monstrum, and she can make puppet soldiers to send into the dungeon and do all the dirty work for her. So I kind of got to give a bit of a warning up front, because this game kind of caught me off guard with a really ugly scene, like in the first hour or so. There's a pretty grody attempted rape at the start of this game. A nun tries to rape Dronia, and it's really I think they're trying to play it for a laugh, but it's really weird because Dronia's reaction to it is one that feels very PTSD. Like, she throws up. It's very uncomfortable and weird. And then that character just gets to hang around with you for seemingly the rest of the game and still being a creepy fucking weirdo. Despite the fact that she was literally creepy. Like, they go pretty in detail about this girl creeping up on Dronia and some real, like, she's really handsy, and they're not shy about where those hands are going. It's real gross, and I don't know what I was supposed to get from that. Game's got a tone problem, kind of like,
yeah, that's weird.
And it's kind of also trying to do it with all of their characters. You know how Konosuba kind of has a cast of characters where they're all just assholes, but they're endearing. This feels like they were trying for that, but they forgot the endearing part, because Dronia is just kind of mean all the time, and it's not funny. Like, she's just, I don't like she literally takes a little girl's birthday away. It's weird. Like, what are you trying to do, video? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, there's just something about the tone. It feels a little more mean-spirited than maybe they meant it to be. I don't know. This game's got weird tone problems, and the rape thing, like, right up at the start. Yeah. Which, that's like in the 20 hours that I have played of this game, that's the only time that this game has done something like that. But, yeah, going in, know that, like, in that first hour and a half, there's a real fucking weird, creepy raper nun, and it's awkward as shit.
That's so weird.
It is. Like, I don't know, like, what was I supposed to get out of this? Is this, like, a mistranslation? Like, did we just completely fucking miss the point? Like, yeah, it made me very uncomfortable and almost just kind of want to push the game away right then and there. Like, it wasn't, especially just like, I mean, if you're gonna do rape humor, like, you've really got to dig real hard to find a way to make that fucking work and be funny, because it's probably never gonna be funny to me. And it wasn't funny when Konosuba tried it either. With that weird sauna episode, like, it wasn't funny when they did it either.
It wasn't funny when they did it in the movie extensively, over and over. For some reason.
Yikes! So yeah, like just some content warning stuff up front for this game, at least in the storyline wise. But like, other than that, like, the story, like, it seems to be going somewhere good. Like, they seem to be doing things with it like way more than I would expect from a dungeon crawler to be. Like they're really invested in this story of this world and these characters and their histories and stuff. So that stuff hooked me. Like I was like, okay, we're staying away from, we're at least staying away from the gross stuff for a while. The long enough for me to get back into it. It's like, okay, you got me. I'm here for the story. I'm interested. What's this witch's connection to this little girl? What's going on here? And they start exploring that in a very good and earnest fashion, thankfully. Despite the fact that, like, again, the tone and the way everybody acts is just fucking weird and off-putting a lot of the time. So, again, there's like a systems-heavy dungeon crawler, and I'm not going to try and cover everything because there's a lot of systems in this game, but there's nothing really that's all that hard to figure out or understand. But basically the idea is you create puppets, and you send them into a dungeon. They're ultimately, like, 8 classes that you can mix and match into soul pacts. So a soul pact is what grants you active abilities. So, like, if you want your sword person to have an active ability in battle that you can select, you need to give them a soul pact that has that ability. The characters only get passive abilities when you create them, and when you level them up, all of their active abilities come from what soul pact you put them in. And then from there, you put characters into covens, and each slot of a coven offers its own unique property. Like, this slot has a defense boost, this slot has a lower aggro rate, and this one decreased the cost of using active skills. And you just kind of like, you build a team of up to 5 covens, and you send that into a dungeon. So I'll run the numbers by you here because it's a little crazy. You can have up to 15 frontline attackers. And depending on what soul pacts you're setting up, you can have anywhere from 5 to 30 support characters that are not even participating in combat.
Oh my god.
It's a little ridiculous. So you go into the dungeon, and it's your standard fare. It's a first-person dungeon crawler. Big, sprawly, mazy maps, enemy encounters, puzzles, trappy traps. You know, all that kind of fun stuff. You complete certain objectives. You basically, like, they'll pull up a big blank portion of the map and put an exclamation point there and be like, this is where something important is probably going to happen, or this is where you need to go to trigger the next part of the story. And then you have to find out how to get there through your use of the map, and that, you know, getting through various obstacles, finding, you know, like, working your way around enemies that you're not strong enough to fight yet. Like, this is all very common dungeon crawly stuff. And the first person fights, where you typically only have to enter commands in combat per coven, so you only have to enter up to 5 commands at a time. So you don't actually have to go through and enter 15. You can do that. You can spend resources to issue individual commands to every character, but it's not really required. I didn't find, like most of the time, to sweep normal fights, you'll press triangle, which does auto attack, and then you have everyone just auto attack, and that's usually enough to get you through pretty much all the trash fights that you'll run across. And it doesn't really get that much more complicated when you're doing normal dungeony stuff. The game does kind of start falling apart structure-wise and mechanics-wise when you kind of get to, like, boss fights. Because boss fights, that's like where all of your character and coven creation all have to kind of come together. Like, all of these systems have to really work for these big set piece moments. You know, boss fights and dungeon crawlers, like, this is the big tactic set pieces, right? This is where, you know, like, the big things happen. The part of the game that makes you feel good when you finally crack it. But, like, with the way that this game is set up, I just never got the feeling in this game that I was accomplishing much, because your puppets, like, for all the creation and stuff you can do to them and all the pieces of equipment you can give them, they all just kind of feel like jars of numbers that you're throwing against the computer's jars of numbers, and you're kind of just hoping all of yours don't break first. Your classes that you create puppets as, they only have passive abilities. So leveling them up, like, you don't get anything cool from doing it. Like, you don't get that, like, rush of, like, investing skill points into a level up, which is like, now I've got an extra point in this skill that I like. Because everything is tied to just putting them in a soul pact that has an ability, and those abilities never level up. Like, they don't get better. Like, covens do level up, but the only thing that levels up about them is that it costs less mana to send them into the labyrinth. And that's the only benefit. So, like...
Which doesn't like, tickle the brain too much.
No, it really, really doesn't. And, like, so, like, if I wanted to create a caster type, a character, like, okay, I can create a mage, but that mage doesn't have any spells. They have passive abilities that make using magic worthwhile. Like, they have a higher magic stat and they have higher magic growth. But if I don't have soul pacts that have cool spells in them, which is a big fucking problem I ran into playing this video game, is that I literally only found like 2 magic soul pacts that had like 2 bad spreads of spells that were just never felt effective because I couldn't really exploit weaknesses. It kind of like falls flat. Like, so what's the point of having mages if I can't really give them like 1 to 3 spells that I'm not really interested in using or aren't really useful right now? And trying to team build like this, it just felt fruitless and frustrating to me most of the time, because it just felt like I have all these tools here, all of these soul packs laying around, but none of them were worth enough of a damn for me to feel like I was micromanaging my team in the way that I think the game wanted me to believe that I was. Like, everything has just got all of these big moving parts and pieces and systems and numbers, but none of it really feels like it matters. It's so weird and empty to me. It's just a lot of, well, I'm going to put you, and you in this crappy pact, and I guess because that's the only way I'll get poison arrow rain, even though my character is supposedly a sniper archer, I guess. I think that's kind of like bit by bit, like as I kept playing the game, and it kept just getting more and more frustrated with the systems and how everything felt like it was trying to restrict me and be adversarial and never giving me the chance to feel like I was actually putting together plans that were good, or building characters or making characters that I felt attached to. It's like, yeah, like, you could make the same argument that, like, Etrian Odyssey 4's characters are, like, they're not important parts in the story. They're not, like, they don't have dialogue. They don't have anything like majorly relevant beyond what you build them as. But I feel that as I build those characters, like, they become something. They start telling their own story with each individual unit that you make and level up and invest points and time and money into. Whereas this is just like, I'm making numbers bigger, and the enemy's numbers are getting bigger, I guess. That's fun. And I just kept running up against that. And, like, it's like, am I playing this game wrong? Like, what am I doing here? So, like, and it's just like, and trying to find answers online was about as fruitful as you expect. Because, like, everybody wants to feel special, that they play the game that outsiders might look at and say it's complicated. So everyone's a big fucking expert. And they only talk in in-game terms. Like, you can't find somebody that is, like, level 30 in this game and be like, how am I doing for this part of the game? Am I doing things right? Am I doing okay? When, like, everybody's just talking about, like, all of this end-game shit that nobody at 20 hours in needs to be thinking about. It's just like, why are you telling me that I need to start destroying my characters at level 99 and re-level them? I'm level 30 20 hours into the game. This is not what I'm here for. I want an answer to my immediate problem of, am I playing this game right?
Yeah.
No, I could never get a straight answer from anybody. It's just, the way people talk about this game drove me fucking nuts. So I guess to kind of like to bring this segment to its climax, we'll tell the story of how of this game's final moments for me. Well, it's a little bit of a long story, but it has, you have to have the full context to kind of where I was at when I finally kind of put this game down and said, enough! I can't. So I got to the end of the third stratum, which I'm doing well. Like, I feel like I did pretty well getting there. Like, my numbers feel good. Like, I'm handling, like, all of the normal fights here. I handled every mini-boss coming up to everything just fine. Like, I did great. Like, I feel like I'm, like, you know, after giving up on the internet and asking, I was like, you know what, no, I feel like I'm playing the video game the way that it probably wants to be played. I'm making steady progress through the labyrinth here. I'm in that loop you get into when you're playing these kinds of games. So I get to the boss, and he pushes my shit in. Just completely, utterly, embarrassingly. I'm level 30, and I'm just like, I cannot put a strategy together that works. And every video I go to look at this boss fight is 15 to 20 levels higher than me. So, like, surely there's no way I'm meant to do this right now. And I'm not going to sit there and fucking grind 20 levels. Where am I going to grind 20 levels? I don't know any fucking grind spots. I'm not going to grind 20 levels for one boss. Are you out of your mind? How do these people do that? How do you go through that monotony? And then there's people on the Steam forum, and they're just like, oh no, that boss is optional. And I'm like, what? Like, why is it optional? Like, the problem is, it's like, you're telling me this boss is optional, but I'm looking at my map, and it says, next objective, defeat Troll Shaman and report to Drodia. Like, that doesn't sound optional to me. So, despite me being a logical thinker and what the UI is telling me, I say, okay, fine, let's go explore a little more. And hey, I found an entrance to another dungeon. Okay, maybe we're right here. Maybe it's okay. So about an hour into the next dungeon, I stop being able to make progress. Like, I'm doing the dungeon thing where it's like, go to these checkpoints on the map, and nothing's happening. Uh-oh. That's probably not good. So, I'm 100% just shut off from being able to advance in the game. All the waypoints are now gone. NPCs not talking to me anymore. Nothing's working. I've also received no new story scenes. So, I guess I gotta go back and beat the stupid boss. So, a long story short on that is doing that third dungeon, the dungeon that I had done after giving up on the Troll Shaman the first time. My party gained like 6 or 7 levels. So we come back, and I spend an hour just mashing my numbers against the Troll Shaman's numbers, and I finally win. Like, it literally was just, I could not put together any combination of covens, of soul pacts, of equipment that would let me do anything but just bash my face into this fucking thing for an hour. And I finally win. I go to the next area. Yay! Waypoints are back. We did it, everybody. I'm getting story cutscenes again. It wasn't optional. It's just a shitty boss. We're free, though. I did it. Hooray. The video game can resume. I'm feeling good again. I'm posting funny screenshots and laughing and this game's funny. I talk about this game likes potatoes just as much as me. They say potatoes all the time. It's great. That's not a lie either. That potatoes are for some reason code word for boobs in this game. Don't ask me why. I have no fucking idea why. But
so stupid.
Everybody's just like, you do like big potatoes, don't you? Jesus Christ, video game. So, but hey, back in a good mood again, right? We're playing the video game. We're making forward progress. So I go about exploring again. It's a fun, cool new dungeon. Like there's a neat little bit of atmosphere going on. It's like the setup for the new one. It's like there's a looming danger supposedly chasing us around, and it's not really, but it's got little waypoints all over the place where you'll go and a cute little event will happen. And it'll be like stop, stop, stop. You hear somebody behind you, but you turn around and can't find them. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like it. Some of them you go into, and like there's a waypoint they'll be there, and you'll have a prompt that you have to press, and you trigger the next thrilling scene, and the prompt is hide. Keep this in mind. It comes press X to hide. Mm-hmm. That is important. Mm-hmm. So it's just a fun little fake game of being chased around a dungeon, but not really. But you do have to go to these waypoints because that's how you continue the story. So I keep doing that. I get down to like 3 or so waypoints left. What else, do you do at this point? You for 20 hours, I've been chasing the waypoints. That's what you do in this video game. Dronia says, I need you to do a thing in a dungeon, and then marks appear on my map, and I go do the things in the dungeon. It's fantastic. And these have never. I need to point this out. These exclamation points have always been story moments. They've never once led to a hostile moment. They've never once led to combat. The game up to this point has been very fucking generous in saying, hey, you might not want to go to that next square because that's where the boss is. Mm-hmm. So let's keep that in mind. So, following what the game has told me, its entire runtime, head toward a waypoint in the northern part of this floor, go in, look at the prompt. What does the prompt say? What do you think the prompt says?
Hide.
It says hide! John, points for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
The prompt says hide. So what happens when you click the hide prompt?
You hide.
You hide. You hide. You stoppy. Move to the next area. Move to the next checkpoint, right? Not this time. Uh-oh. The game just lied to me. So, what happens this time? For no reason whatsoever, and with absolutely no warning, no precedent for anything like this happening, going into this safe hide prompt that I've done this entire dungeon, I am thrown into an inescapable, unwinnable fight where a giant super boss pushes my shit in 2 turns. I lose 200,000 stockpiled experience. That all that I had gained on doing this stupid quest over the last hour. I lost all of my mana, and all of my puppets had broken limbs that I would need to repair and spend a shit ton of money on. My jaw hit the fucking floor. My controller probably hit the floor too.
The controller hit the TV.
No, I think it's just like I had that moment where a game literally shocked me to the point of, are you just did that? You broke? You broke? I felt so fucking angry and lied.
Yeah.
Like, there was a level of trust.
You broke my trust.
Yes, that's the only way I can put it, is that I had trusted this game for 20 hours. We had gone through everything together, and it had all been the same. There had been bad downs at this point, but nothing that was just like out and out, the game just fucking lied to me. It fucked me because it could. And my brain, at this point, just auto-ejected the disk. I navigated to the system's storage and deleted my save file, and I vowed to never play this piece of shit game again. Like, the mechanics were already getting on my nerves, and they weren't satisfying, but I was frustrated because I was here for where the story was starting to go. Like, there was starting to be that moment of just like, oh, there's something deeper here. There's something more to this character. They've taken way too long to get here with her, but I'm starting to kind of get a glimpse of who she is and what she's really doing here. And I'm just like, you pulled me in. And this moment where the game literally just did the most video game thing that it could and just fucked me over. And it's just like, because, okay.
In a very, very high stakes dungeon crawl. It's a high stakes dungeon crawl.
Exactly.
Like, you can't fuck with your communication that way.
Yeah.
You need to be very clear with this stuff.
Yeah. Like, this needs to be consistent. Like, if one thing in this game needs to be consistent, it needs to be that kind of shit. Like, you can't just fuck the play. Like, that's such awful bullshit. Like, I thought we learned to stop doing this in the 90s bullshit. And it's just like,
yeah, this is a.
Go ahead.
This isn't a game. This isn't a game with like where you have checkpoints every 2 minutes. This isn't one of those games where like, okay, you put a dumb QuickTime event here and I died and I have to go back. This is
like you robbed me of an hour of work, and my brain was just like, how do I know you won't do that again? How do I know that, like, yeah, even if that's the one time this game does that, how do I know that doesn't happen again? Like, they go.
You'll be spending the rest of the game dreading it.
Exactly. Like, you can't enjoy the rest of the dungeon crawl that way because you have to go into every fucking event now with it being suspect. It's just, man, and it makes me so mad. Like this legitimately pissed me off. This is one of those, when I pulled the disc out, I literally wanted to snap it in half. This is a game where it's just like, my first thought was like, I'm just gonna tell somebody on Twitter if they want this video game, I will send it to them. But it's like, no, this video game is not worth the money that I would spend sending it to anybody. It makes me mad because like I was starting to get the hook, even though it took 20 hours and I was maybe even willing to struggle through systems that I wasn't 100% enjoying. The dungeon crawling part wasn't bad. Moving like the navigation puzzle of working your way through like that third area especially was really fun. And now you have to worry about like, does the rest of the game have a moment like that where I just get completely fucked for everything? I can't deal with that. The game, you're not that good. You're not so good of a game that I'm willing to put my fucking time in and get fucked like that again. It's a real bummer. It pissed me off. Yeah. Because there's a part of me that really, really wants to like this game, but I know. Mm-hmm. Like the game crossed a line.
It crossed a couple lines. It sounds like.
Yeah. I have to. I'm giving it. Despite the fact that this game pissed me off more than any game has pissed me off in a long fucking time, because I think people maybe think that I get really, really mad at video games all the time when it's really just like I have momentary bursts of frustration and it's like, okay, like the game is back in the console. That has not happened with Labyrinth of Refrain. My save file is gone. That game's never going in my console again. Earned.
Yeah.
This game is not going to be on my Game of the Year list. Just spoilers on that.
Whoa, really?
End of the year, you played 9 games. You're like, shit.
Shit, man. All right. Number 8, Labyrinth of Refrain.
That's when you quickly find a Bitsy game on itch.io you can play in 2 minutes and be like, all right, there we go.
I'll just throw facets on there. Like, fine, we'll give facets its due.
I feel like...
and somehow facets actually got number 9 afterwards.
Yes, John?
I feel like you're really close to dungeon crawl language in a way that, honestly, like maybe I don't really know anyone else's. Just because you got the Etching Odyssey, the Labyrinth of Toho 2 stuff, the various other games. I feel like you're really tapped in to how that language works, and I think that's really cool. I think that's rad. That's what I was taking away, like listening to the listening to those kind of big systems things was like, it's all numbers. All of these games are numbers bouncing against each other. But why is it that this game's number bouncing is satisfying and this game's isn't? And like thinking really hard about that and listening to the thoughts, and that was like
like it comes down to like I like that feeling, like the characters you create in Etrian Odyssey, again, they're just empty vessels, the same as Labyrinth of Refrain characters that you make, but there's something much more substantive to the way that you put together an Etrian Odyssey character, and that you have some more ownership over it, and how they grow, and how you can configure their loadouts, and you don't get that with Labyrinth of Refrain, because everything is just like, it's so big. Like, it has to accommodate the fact that you can have 15 frontline attackers and 30 fucking support characters. So you have to kind of strip away some of the granularity of character identity in order to just kind of make it more of a fucking Excel spreadsheet. And it's, and again, like, I'm mad at the fact that, one, the game fucking did what it did to me, but I think that I'm more mad because I was just like, I was right there at the point where, like, I could have probably played this as a comfort game and been totally fine. Just seeing it through and getting to the end. Like, I was right there, and the game was just the biggest fuck you imaginable. Right there. It's like, I can't play the rest of this game not knowing whether or not that'll ever happen again. So then I just like, cool, I'm going to play Etrian Odyssey for the 5th time. so I'm like in the middle. I'm in the middle of another Etrian Odyssey 4 playthrough. And I'll probably, once I finish this, I will probably go back to Etrian Odyssey 5 and finally give it its just desserts.
Oh my god.
I will finally give Etrian Odyssey 5 the shot that I did not give it back when it came out for some reason. Just wasn't in the mood for it at that point. But I think now, like, yeah. Like,
guess what? It's probably better than this, and it's probably better than Mary Skelter.
You're not wrong! You're not wrong, man. But, like, it's really fucking annoying how both Mary Skelter and Labyrinth of Refrain are both games where it's just like, I want to like you. Let me like you, please. I'm here. You're saying and doing everything I want. But they both do really dumb things design-wise. And I feel like I'm the only one that notices, because the way people talk about these games is foreign to me. What a world. What are video games? They're just jars of numbers.
Probably there's only...
I really like that phrase. I'm going to take my numbers, put them in a jar, and throw them at your numbers in a jar.
And we'll hope mine don't break first. But yeah.
It's Polly, there's only one way forward. There's only one way forward here. You gotta make your own dungeon crawler.
Dude.
I mean,
Poly Dungeon 2 has...
Oh my god, as an actual dungeon crawler?
I have design docs, okay? I have RPG Maker NV.
Do you have our Excel spreadsheets?
I don't have Excel spreadsheets, but I do have things and projects started, but no real aim yet. I'll just say that, like, Poly Dungeon 2 was always going to be an idea, and it was always going to be a more actual, legitimate dungeon crawler, but it's going to have that same kind of original games, just fucking stupidity.
Oh,
and, and it's just, I need to work in the stupidity, but also just some weird systemsy nonsense that's not too overdone or too overbaked, but just enough to just kind of like, there it is. That's my signature on this dumb thing. So, yeah, and this isn't me spoiling anything about any of my ideas or anything. Poly Dungeon 2 was always going to be a thing to happen, and it was always going to be a new dungeon crawler. So, An actual dungeon crawler made in It's why I got RPG. It's why I got RPG Maker MV in the first place, because I want to actually make Poly Dungeon 2 at some point. So yeah.
Oh, I want it so bad.
John horny for
yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
fucking horny for this game.
That was like the swelling brain thing in the back of my head as you like just 20 minutes of like nitty gritty formal dissection of how this game functions as a dungeon crawler, just vivisecting it. Like, all right, here's why this beating heart is failing me. I was just very enjoying that and just thinking like
that energy could be refocused, obviously, to you know, I could her lullaby
not
this.
Like that's all that's all useful. Like playing another game like that and then dissect and getting into it like that is gonna. It's all expanding your perspective on this kind of game. Yeah,
like it lets me know what I want to do and what I want to avoid. So, I mean, if anything, I can at least thank Labyrinth of Refrain for giving me ideas on what not to do.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's my Labyrinth of Refrain experience. Yep. Man, I like. I'm at the disappointed stage now. Like, I'm not mad about it anymore like I was the night that everything went down, where I was just like, man, fuck this game. I am going to run over it with my car.
Yep.
I'm going to do that with Final Fantasy VII Remake, though.
Cause so salty.
Oh, I am. I'm very mad. Fuck Square Enix. I'm not buying a PS5, okay? And they're going to lock me out of the rest of this dumb thing? Fuck you.
You played the game last year.
Who cares? I'm still going to roll over it with my car.
You should. That's the one you should send to a Socks friend if they really want it.
All right, if anybody out there wants a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake, this is your chance to claim it. I will send it to you. There you go. It's out there. You know the email address. Nice. First come, first serve. Let's go.
John, what's that email?
I'm going to edit that out. I'm not sending that game to anybody.
Aww.
I'm having some... Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Am I coming through?
It sounds
like I'm dropping out.
You're fine.
Okay, cool. I feel like we give you shit for getting mad and then coming back to games and whatnot.
Oh no, I do it all the time, and I know that it's a funny thing. I play
every
into
time
it.
I fall for it.
I play into it at this point. So
I had thought you dropped to this game like 2 days before you actually did.
Oh,
because you had gotten mad at something else.
Were you expecting me? Were you expecting me to come on this podcast and be like, "Yeah, I'm like 50 hours in now"?
No, I knew when you said you deleted your save.
Okay, I was wondering what
I'm saying. Like,
I was wondering what people thought this time, or if they thought it was really over.
Like, someone asked you what game it was, and you were like, "It's bad." And I'm like, "Oh, so why are you still playing it?" And then 2 days later, I'm not playing it anymore for real this time.
Yeah, like that. Like, there was always kind of this part of my brain while playing Labyrinth of Refrain that was just like, "This is bad. You're not having a great time, Polly. You can turn it off. You don't have to." And then I let it get me. I let it get me with the promise of good story, of a story that I got invested in, and then I let this happen. This is all my fault. Now we're getting into some weird, deep mental shit.
We're Xenogearsing it.
Yep, we're Xenogearsing it.
Id wants to keep playing Labyrinth of Refrain. Oh no, I want to turn it off.
No,
you'll keep playing it.
You'll keep playing. Oh my god, that's too funny.
Or Id tearing the disc out. That's not fair. Take it back.
Take it back.
Stupid.
Oh god, we're too dumb.
I think
we're too dumb.
I think my point was that. I think my point was that almost all the time when you get mad on Twitter about games or whatnot, there's this little like formal nug of like, here's why the communication in this game broke down for me and pissed me off. And it's always like something really legit and useful. And even when I'm going like, fuck you, I like that game, you should keep playing, why are you mad at this? It's still like, oh, but she's got a point about that bit. So basically, every time we have those little breakdowns and where you express those things, I just wanted to communicate that I think it's cool and useful a lot of the time.
I appreciate that. I'm glad that I'm glad that I'm able to make cogent points through irritation at baby toys.
Video games are serious business. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my god!
You get laser focused, and then what it is. It's like, I know what it is that's pissing me off.
I can point this exact thing out. Oh man, video games.
Thank you for that.
Who needs them? Who needs them? I'm just gonna play my comfort food Etrian Odyssey 4.
I know. Just dungeon crawlers all the way down.
There you go. This one goes down real smooth.
I'm just gonna play nice itch games. I'm just gonna play nice games.
No, don't play new games. Just play the ones you know you like already.
There you go. It's a very simple solution.
This is really funny because literally Monty was like, why don't we played an RPG Maker horror game last time. Why don't we play another one that I really like called The Cat Lady? And I look up at the Steam page and it's like, content warning, suicide. And then like, this is about a lady who wants to kill herself for XYZ reasons. It's 6 hours and very depressing.
Oh no!
I was like, Monty, I cannot play this right now. Let's play Starry Flowers. I know I just played it earlier today, but I want to play this.
Okay, so that's why you played it twice.
If you're okay segueing.
I was about to say, we're talking about RPG Maker games. Those have come up quite a bit. I wonder if anybody's got anything to talk about in that realm. I'll let either one of you take this.
Yeah.
Brett?
Go
ahead.
Okay, if anybody doesn't want to hear literally anything about Omori, like, this is the end of the podcast.
This is the time to tune out. They're going to be being as very careful as they can, because obviously, I want to know nothing about this game, but being a podcast host is really hard. So, I'm
not gonna Xenogears it.
Yeah, we're not gonna Xenogears it.
But even just in case, put it at the end.
If you don't want to know anything at all about Omori, now is the time to duck out, and remember, we're the podcast that love you. We're the only ones that love you. So that's been your final warning if you want to go into Omori 100% blind. So,
hi, Tom. And spoiler, not spoiler. That was a joke spoiler. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Rhett and I both extremely, extremely liked it. It's a very good story.
All right.
So it's one of those that is worth coming into pretty blind.
I'm just going to turn you two loose. Have at it.
There's a review. So I used to keep a list. I still keep a list on Giant Bomb of games I've beaten. I started using Backlogged as well, which has user reviews. Mm-hmm. And one of the user reviews I saw for this game, it put it up really succinctly. This game is a 6 out of 10 merged with a 10 out of 10.
Huh.
Oh.
Interesting.
Okay, we're gonna dig into. I think there's something where. I think what Rhett's saying there is like the core story of this just absolutely hits like a fucking truck. It lands completely.
I got that impression just from hearing people talking vagaries about it.
I mean, in my own experience was I finished it like 2 Mondays ago, and it just knocked the wind out of me.
You were Napstabluke for a couple of days.
It was just the next day. I'm just not going to play any video games, watch any anime. I'm just not going to do anything.
Just gonna lay on the ground and feel like a piece of trash.
Kind of. Like, I think part of it for me, and in a weird way, it's kind of funny because this happened to John as well, is that I had all my media projects kind of lined up for a bit, where it's like I was playing Rabby Ribby, and then like right before I finished that, Ys 9 came out. So I had like started that, then finished Rabby Ribby, then I played Ys 9, and then before I finished that, I started playing Mario. And then before I finished Mario, I started playing this. Like, there was always like something in progress. So then when I finished it, and it had the ending that it did, and there was nothing like lined up as like the rebound game.
Yep.
Oh.
This was it. I was done. I'd finished Xenogears. I finished Precure. I'd finished E7. All I had was Omori, and then I finished Omori, and I was just,
So we both happened completely coincidentally to kind of finish our in current media queue with this game
for the first time in 6 months for me.
Yeah, yours was way longer. Mine's been like since January, but and then just having this game be the climax and just knock the wind out of you right at the end, just like the wrong game to kind of do that with. Like John immediately had to play the Nami game the next day to kind of feel again.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was like nothing for 3 days, and then I started, and then I got back to Love Live.
Perfect. Oh my god, it's so fucking perfect.
Like that. That's kind of why I ended up binging the rest of season 2 of Love Live, the original, like so hard, is just to get away from this.
I need to feel something.
Hey, let's rewatch Love Live Sunshine now.
And then,
I know we just had 3 seasons of Love Live.
Yeah, and then that kind of kept going, and I burned through like 5 more episodes of Love Live Sunshine. And then I was like, okay,
God,
there's some distance now. The funny thing is, like,
I close my eyes and I see images from this game.
Oh my god, I think it got you even more than me.
Christ alive.
The funny thing is like I don't want to immediately skip to the ending, but that's kind of what I'm going to do because it's like the big thing in the game. Mm-hmm. But like the last like 4 hours of this game, or however long it is, I actually didn't cry at all because I was like, this is so unimaginably sad that like it tips into the too far category where it's like I can't cry to this because I'm clamming up and just like emotionally dead inside. But I'm having this feeling of like I could see somebody bawling through all of this. And then like the next day I watched an LP of someone else playing it and they started crying at the end. And then that's what finally got me to like break a little and was like, okay, you can let some of this go and cry.
Oh man.
Like I still needed that kind of layer of obfuscation though, of like watching somebody else go through it.
Well, a VTuber. You need a VTuber to go through it and start crying.
It actually wasn't a VTuber, though I do know a VTuber who finished this game in a big 8-hour stream, and I'm gonna get to that at some point.
Oh lord.
I bet she fucking cried at the end.
They don't animate tears for those things. That's going to be awkward.
But you can hear them crying.
I know.
It's actually like they stop They stop animating it all because the person playing it...
The person just shuts down.
They just like duck out of view of the camera and you just hear quiet sobs from off screen. It's a lot. Anyways. Omori, though, is like... It's 2 games combined in one. And I think that's kind of its biggest flaw. Is that it is a pretty basic JRPG for much of its runtime. Mm-hmm. Like I've heard a lot of people go, this should have been a brisk 10-hour game instead of a 20-hour game or however long it is.
It's like 25 hours. Yeah, it's beefy.
The dungeons, the couple of dungeons there are, they just keep kind of going. There's one I told John about where
they push 2 to 3 hours. Like a couple of them.
Yeah. There's one where it's like, I didn't recognize the thing as a hub area that had 3 different paths off of it. So I do one of the paths, and then it kicks me back to the central hub, and it's like, okay, do the other 2, and I'm just went,
wait, what?
Oh, we're doing this, huh? And I just went to bed. And then one of those 3 paths, the third of those paths that I did, had its own 3 different doors thing. And I just laughed at that point, like, boy, you are just, all of the dungeon crawling and all of the JRPG stuff just feels like bigger than it needed to be. And I think a lot of what bugged me is that like the whole pastel quirky world thing in this like just didn't land for me whatsoever. Like I didn't actually find any of it funny or cute. And that was kind of a big part of it.
Oh shit. Okay. Can I give my take on this?
Yeah.
I think I think that it was a bad call to go into this right after Xenogears.
Oh yeah,
Xenogears.
okay.
That's the other thing.
Because Xenogears is a 50-hour RPG that's very slow and also heavily trauma focused. It is.
Yeah.
And I just so I think that going straight from that into this kind of put me in a headspace where I was maybe seeing the seams more, kind of seeing the artifice a little more, to the point where I even kind of had a slightly muted reaction initially to the whole conclusion, because I was just like, well, okay. Because I think on some level you can go over this whole game and basically say that we've seen all of it. Like, the three of us here have seen all of it before.
Sure.
And then I had to digest it. And then I was chewing on it, just like in my guts, just like, oh, wait a minute, there's something else here, huh?
I mean, you did
and then
you messaged me during the finale that you had to stop every 30 minutes because it was so much.
Yeah. And then I got to like I said, I think you got a bit of this where even during the finale I was still a little bit muted.
Yeah.
But then the next day, like, I talked about this game for about 6 or 7 hours after I finished it. I found one Discord where I could do it. I talked with Rhett extensively. I found I talked with Cecile about it. And part of that was that I wanted to chew over my own kind of complaints about it.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't really care about any of those complaints anymore. I think that I was maybe off base. And I was kind of with Red at the very end on, oh, these dungeons are taking forever, I just want to be done. But honestly, the whole first 15 to 20 hours, I was pretty much completely on board throughout all of the cute shit. And I thought it was really, even if this dungeon is an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours long, all of them are so dense with cute interactions and one-off set pieces and different bits, and the battle system is so dense. Every piece of the battle system is communicating different little things. I wasn't bored at all throughout basically the cute mother game. Maybe at the very end, and I think that was because I was coming off of Xenogears. I think if I was in a different mood, I would have loved it the whole time.
I mean, we talk about it and we joke about it a lot, but it happens when me after 5 iffy, we play a Trails game, the new Trails game, and then suddenly you get post Trails depression where other things just stop hitting hard for a little bit. And coming off of something like Xenogears, where it was this kind of big revelation for you, and it's a game that you probably didn't expect to go and end up where it did, it ended up leaving an impact big enough for you to spend 55 minutes talking about it last episode.
Is that really how long it was?
Yeah, it was that long. It was that long.
Holy cow.
Oh my god, it's so long.
So when you were talking about, when you were going over kind of talking about, on Twitter about kind of being a little nonplussed by Omori at first, I was just like, I think that's probably what's happening. That's why I wasn't wasn't a call to emergency for me of oh no, what if this is overrated? No, it was just you just came off of Xenogears, and it affected you in a way that you probably weren't expecting, and that made its impact even better. So that's kind of how it looked from the outside.
I would say I was thinking it in terms of Xenogears has a bunch of really, really long, boring parts. And I was kind of exhausted with playing RPGs. But I think you're probably on it. The fact that I talked about it that long, it did leave a big mark.
Yeah, you're not going to talk about something for 55 minutes unless you really fucking didn't like it or you really liked it.
Yeah, because I messaged John pretty early about, boy, just not really here for this JRPG combat, and I was super early in it, and you're like, this is so much better than Xenogears combat.
that's the most fun takeaway.
Yeah. So, but then I finished, I don't want to come off as too harsh as saying I didn't like it, but just I don't know, the cutesy stuff kind of just seemed a little overdone, but I was still here for it. I just didn't feel the need to explore every inch of this extremely huge map or do, basically any side quests after the first few.
Didn't grab you the way that Undertale grabbed everybody, but the way that this game is grabbing people in the same way that Undertale did, but it didn't do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the humor just kind of missed for me, and like some of the side characters, like they really go in on a few characters that just seem kind of inconsequential.
Yeah!
The main story. Like two of the kind of what?
Go ahead.
It's something I said are in chat.
I know. I'm just laughing because I love those side characters. They're so dumb. And like you said, they spend hours on like these inconsequential side characters that I completely adore. I love them.
Well, it's just like kind of from a development side, it's just kind of funny where it's like the musicians' group names became characters in the game. Like Space Boyfriend is one of the musicians, and like Slime Girls is a musician. So like they build these big character arcs again around these names, and it's like how this game was designed originally as like, the dreamy otaku mother thing, and then where it actually goes by the ending are so disparate, Yeah.
The dream has very little to do with the overall story, essentially.
Yeah. But it is
that's kind of what I was chewing. Go ahead.
Yeah. It has very little to do with the kind of main meat of the plot, but it is the bigger part of the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think I argued myself. Like I said, I talked about it for 6 hours, which is what I do when something hits me hard, especially when it hits me hard and when it's maybe doing a bit of an art and confusing me. And I think I just kind of argued myself into I think my reaction to a lot of the long dungeon bits wasn't I'm not having a good time, because I think I was having a good time.
Yeah,
I think I was thinking a lot of it. Boy, Rhett and Polly might have trouble with this because I specifically it's fucking Earthbound has next to no story for almost all of it. Like it's all in the background.
Yeah.
You're just running around doing cute RPG shit. And like the framing device of a dream, basically, you could go in a different direction and make each of those the mother parts like play into the overall story in like a kind of a one-to-one way. I think having it all be kind of a distraction, and then with the real story just kind of poking in at the margins throughout, is a really cool effect. And I think that it wouldn't work at all for me, or it wouldn't work for me if I didn't love exploring giant fucking beautiful RPG Maker maps stuffed with cute characters and cute dialogue, and there's a whole area that's completely optional. Nothing to do with the story. You just go there. I kept sending you screenshots of like optional bosses and whatnot, and you're like, I didn't see that. And I was like, this is good. This rules.
You told me about like this whole optional side quest that's like 45 minutes long, in an area that is also optional entirely.
That ends with it's just a really silly joke. And I think if you're going into this game, that's something to recognize, is that this is going to be like 18 hours of like cute RPG Maker world to explore. And I really like that.
But then every once in a while it changes into a totally different thing.
Yeah, I think
it's frustrating, because I think if somebody comes to this wanting just the kind of cute light Earthboundy, they're gonna be like really frustrated by where the ending, I think, that has nothing to do with the whole other side of the game.
I feel like most Mother fans are in it because they want, like, I want to explore a cute world for 80% of this, and then I want my heart torn out.
I want my trauma.
This game feels like it succeeds, and then I want my trauma. I feel like this game delivers on that.
Yeah,
because it in that respect it feels like a because that's the bit, like we said in the last week, I was like, hey, this is definitely more like Mother in the sense that this has big RPG sections to explore, versus Undertale just being 4 hours of character beats and story into your veins.
Undertale is like incredibly linear as well. Whereas in this, like, I got frustrated.
It's almost a VN.
This let me get incredibly lost pretty early on before a character was like, "Hey, you're supposed to go this way, dumbass." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." Like, I didn't even find the first big dungeon for like a couple hours. And that was a little annoying.
God, it's so dense. That first area is huge.
Because I kept thinking, "Oh, this looks like the way forward." So like, I did a thing to get further into that, and then it just immediately turned into a dead end. And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. So I played the first 7 hours of this game in one chunk.
Whoa!
Yep.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
This is what I want right now.
This is what I want right now. And then I put it down, and I finished Xenogears, and I played another 7 hours, and I put it down, and I finished Freaker, and I put it down, and I finished it.
Yeah, for what it's worth,
yeah, right.
Like, as bored as I kind of say I was with the JRPG parts, I did finish it significantly faster than you. Whereas, like, once I got to like the last one, I just plowed through it. Like, okay, because I was here for it. Like, the combat does get more fun as you go and kind of evolve, and like, it felt like it reached a kind of natural conclusion of like, okay, here's what we can do with the emotion-based combat system.
Mm-hmm. And I think you pointed out like one important part of the dream that is very important to the larger story, and that is that you spend the whole game with the characters that are central to the real story. Like, they are you explore the game with the actual characters from the real story, and every time they're interacting with things, you are getting to know them and getting closer to them.
Yeah, I think some parts
like that's
it definitely can't be, you couldn't entirely excise it. I just think some parts, the grindy parts, could be a little shorter.
Mm-hmm. I kind of argued myself into being like, why does everything in an RPG have to be all about the story? Like, Hollow Knight has all these big levels. That's fine. Everyone loves that. But then I got deep into my brain. Just
yeah. Because like, there's the one part...
Kirby's just fun levels. Like, maybe Kirby's okay. Like, I went down a whole fucking train.
Oh no!
6 hours. Just like, maybe that's fine. Maybe it's okay.
There's definitely a ton of like what you expect and what you want in this game of like your expectations may betray you, and you're like, if you're here for one specific aspect of it, the other one is just going to grate on you.
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine someone not liking the ending, but I guess a lot of people don't like having their soul ripped out. So
what weirdos?
I don't know any of them here, but
yeah.
I said this in the chat. I said I listed a bunch of. I said I played a lot of games. I've seen a lot of stories with these sorts of reveals, with these sorts of big moments. I have never played a game where these moments land this hard.
That's fair.
Like, that's how it landed for me. Was that we've talked about games like this on the podcast. We've played games like this. This hit real fucking hard.
It hits too hard, basically. Like, the one complaint I've seen from people is like, the one big truly dark thing in this game like goes too far, and I think it going as far as it does is super important to the main. Okay, like, this is a game about coping with trauma. Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of it is the way it is, because it's an escape from facing the trauma.
Yeah. It's just like Xenogears, basically.
That's the thing. It's like when Polly's comparing it to Xenogears, I'm like, I don't have that reference at all, sorry.
Right.
But like, yeah. Having not played Xenogears...
I mean, Trails Third is just Xenogears.
Oh, right.
So
You get
transitive property.
Yeah, it's definitely in the same vein as Trails Third of like, characters dealing with some heavy stuff.
Dealing with shit.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't think we need to detail. I think there's one other structure thing. I was worried because I heard there were multiple routes, and this is a 25-hour game. So the idea of having to replay it was terrifying. I Googled this. There's 2 routes. So if I want to see everything, I'm playing the game twice. I might fucking do that pretty soon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But, okay, so here's the thing, is like, if you play this game and you are a normal person, you will get to the regular normal good ending.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and you don't need to worry about it. You can just play it, and then if
I had absolutely no idea about routes or different endings. I just played it, and I got the standard basic ass. You did the right thing.
Got the truest of true. Rat got the truest of true endings easily.
Yeah,
basically. And I got there too with nary a misstep, except when I read about.
But like,
so I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to worry about the root stuff while playing it. And then if you want to explore more, then that's an option. But there's basically the one main story.
Yeah, basically the other route you'd have to do something very specific to trigger it, and then you know what your reward is the JRPG side of the game being significantly expanded upon. Like there's more areas, there's like another dungeon, there's more bosses, there's a boss rush at the end apparently you can unlock.
Jesus.
Like, it is like, hey, if you want more of that side, it's here, but you're not going to get,
which is honestly like my big issue was like the JRPG stuff kind of dribbles away for the big ending. Yeah. And I was like, well, I want more. I love JRPGs.
I mean, basically
so now that route exists, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm content.
Yeah. It is cool for people that want that side that it exists, but like, I think the main story not having the big, huge final dungeon Trails in the Third style, is completely fine based on the themes of the story.
Yeah, I agree, and I after 6 hours of wrestling with it, I agree.
Because Trails Third, that story wasn't just Kevin's; it was everyone's. Yeah. Whereas in this,
exactly,
it's Omori's story.
And I think,
I
don't want to talk more. I don't want to say anything else, basically. But if you have anything else you want to,
it just hits like a truck at the end. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I could hype the ending up for a while, but you have to know you're going into like 20 hours of Mother gameplay first.
Mm-hmm. And even then, like we can hype up the ending, but like I said, it's stuff we've seen before. Mm-hmm. But I think this version of it is fucking pristine.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of at the point of having consumed so much media that I can't just keep going, oh, this reminded me of X, because every story has been done. There's no true originality anymore. Everything is going to be based off something. Like this itself, the Kickstarter for this game was in 2014. God. And Toby Fox is listed on there as like a guest musician a full year and a half before Undertale actually came out. So like, I'm sure they at some point during those 5 years or 5.5 since Undertale have played it and maybe had some things to change in the game because of that.
Yeah,
like, everything is building off of everything, especially when they are friends with Toby Fox.
Fuck, this game's good. Hey, everyone should go play this game. Once you're ready for it.
I think I need to be ready. I think I need to be a little more ready for it. But yeah, I'm playing this fucking game.
Yeah.
You can't just kind of rush through it. Be like, okay, hit me with the good stuff. It's like, okay, we're gonna slowly build to it. We're not gonna, Undertale right away.
Yeah, let's be here. Let's dwell in this for a little while. Let's be patient. And I need to kind of get there. And be ready to have my soul ripped out, Shang Tsung style. So,
and it again, that part, like the bulk of the game, doesn't not contribute.
Sure,
because you are getting to learn about these characters and like their personalities and stuff. It's just that maybe it drags on a little longer in every sections feels like a little bit longer. Like even the first dungeon, I hit a point pretty early on and was like, oh, it's over. That wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, and then that ended up being the halfway point.
Oops.
It's like, oh, okay, we've still got like a half hour of this.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's a really good game with, a couple asterisks upon it.
Sure.
Like, hey, here's some things to know. Also, it opens with like
not for me. I think it's perfect.
Okay, but even like
which is so annoying because I was completely with Rhett 2 days ago, and I'm like, fuck it, it's fine.
John, I really like this game, Jesus. I'm just acknowledging, but like basically my content warning is JRPG, but then when you start the game, it also goes like content warning, suicide, self-harm, other stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Gonna need a little bit, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So is that Omori?
Yep. I'm glad I booted this up instead of E9. That is so funny that I was like wait in the morning and like, what's this random RPG Maker shit that everyone's talking about suddenly?
Yeah, this came out of
fuck it,
nowhere.
let's dive in.
This game came out of fucking nowhere.
It launched on Christmas. The Kickstarter was in 2014. 6 years later, they launched it on Christmas.
Just wild.
They just didn't give a fuck.
No.
God, there's like a quote from the creator, the kind of like the main creator, Omocat. She said, like, there's more of my soul in this game now than in my actual body.
Oh no.
Like this was a super personal, like,
I imagine so.
Project.
Yeah.
And it started as a webcomic in like 2011, 2012, but then they always pictured it as a game first.
Well then,
I think that's good.
Is that an episode? Are we good?
I think so.
All right. Well, I guess there's just one thing to do, and that is to wind things on down. Of course, I want to thank everybody for giving us a listen, everybody for stopping by for the live show. Of course, it is always a joy to look at that chat window and see people give a crap. It's always fun. Y'all are amazing. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening. John Thayer, tell the fine internet folks at home where they can find you.
Farawaytimes.itch.io
And Hurret.
Socksmakepeoplesexy.net, where you got this podcast.
Hey, that's conveniently where you can find me as well. And remember, we are the podcast that loves you. We are the only ones that love you. All right. Knocked it out. All right. Now let us... Well, I got
220.
I got our host target right here. We're gonna go say hi to Mookie, who Rhett hates. I'm kidding.
Oh.
It's all good, Rhett. It's fine. We're gonna go say hi to Mookie. She is streaming Human Fall Flat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What is that? Well, we're just gonna go find out.
Yeah.
We'll just go find out what Human Fall Flat is. But everybody, go say hi. Give her a follow. She's making it work. It's fun. All that fun stuff. And we will catch you next time. /raid. Control paste. Boom.